In this video we share the prophecies of Our Lady on Ukraine. These days, unfortunately, the tension is increasing due to the risk of conflict in Ukraine. But this year is the anniversary of her apparition in Hrushiv, in Ukraine precisely, where the Virgin Mary made a prophecy about the destiny of that people. The numerous apparitions of the Madonna that took place during the darkest periods in this tormented land are unknown to many. We continually ask ourselves what will become of the situation in Ukraine, and whether, as usual, it will be the people who will have to pay the consequences of the actions and wills of the powerful, who, however, do not know that the paths of men are very little compared to the plans of God. You must never stop trusting. In fact, it is not the powerful of the world who have the last word on the course of history. God arranges the facts of history so that men can meet Him, and has never left a faithful people without His protective hand, even in ways that at times seem obscure and unknown. Thinking about the dramatic years of the Soviet Union, there were several occasions when the Virgin showed herself close to the Ukrainian people. In fact, before Fatima there was Ukraine. It was May 12, 1914 in the village of Hrushiv a Marian apparition takes place. The Virgin Mary appears to 22 peasants who at that moment were mowing the fields, offering a very important message to the faithful, a message that is a prelude to what will then be delivered in 1917 to the three little shepherds of Fatima. There will be war. Russia will become a country without God. Ukraine, as a nation, will suffer terribly for 80 years and will have to survive the world wars, but afterwards it will be free. These are the words that the Virgin would have delivered to 22 people, words that have the precise flavor of a prophecy. In fact, Russia had truly become a country without God after the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917. Russia came under the axe of the communist atheist regime after the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917, and the Ukrainian people had to suffer terrible violence. In 1987 Our Lady appeared once again in Ukraine, in the same place. A year had passed since the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Exactly 1 year after the nuclear disaster, the Virgin appeared again in Hrushiv. It was April 26, 1987. This time it was a 12-year-old girl named Maria Kazin who saw the Madonna. An unusual light came from a deconsecrated chapel in the garden of his home. That same chapel had been closed by the communist regime in 1947. Our Lady appeared to console and tell the Ukrainian people that the suffering would soon be over. Ukraine will become an independent state, the Virgin said clearly. Still, particularly, on that occasion, Mary appeared with features very similar to those of the so-called Virgin of Tenderness, the icon given to the Prince of Kiev, Vladimir the Great, by his wife Anna, after the conversion of his people to Christianity and the mass baptism in the waters of the Dnieper River. These are events that must be kept in mind when joining Pope Francis' prayer that every effort for peace is made in Ukraine. In recent days, the indiscretion has also emerged that in the coming months Pope Francis could meet again the Patriarch of Moscow Kirill, in a place not yet specified. Francis only asked that he happen where Christians suffer. On Sunday at the Angelus the Holy Father again commented on what is happening with despair. How sad it is when people and peoples proud of being Christians see others as enemies and think of making war. It is very sad, the Pope said, adding however that with the Spirit of Jesus we can respond to evil with good, we can love those who harm us. So do Christians. In fact, the Pope has been inviting Catholics from all over the world to pray for weeks, together with appeals from many religious authorities from Ukraine, such as the Catholic Archbishop of Kiev Monsignor Visvaldas Kulbaka. We are not politicians, but we want to help people not to fall into the feeling of fear and not to be misled. We insist on hope in God, the religious affirmed, relaunching the pontiff's appeal and exhorting not to slow down the dialogue between the parties. This is why it is important to insist in prayer, to ask the Lord that, just as it happened 30 years ago, even today He returns the gift of peace to the Ukrainian people, protecting the land of Ukraine from evil plans. Thank you for supporting my channel. May God bless you and keep you. Our Lady, Queen of Peace, pray for us.